Alright, we've just seen the announcement of the Xbox One console, the successor to the Xbox 360, and we're here in the outside Xbox Command Center, which looks a lot like a living room, to analyse what we've just seen. So, guys, first things first, positive, negative, what do you think of the thing overall?
Well, I mean, it was very hardware focused, wasn't it? I think they're probably saving the games for E3, so I think people going into that hoping to see a load of next generation games would probably have been disappointed because there weren't a lot.
So it's very TV centric.
Xbox, watch TV.
There's a lot of TV, and just when you thought you'd had all the TV,
they brought some more TV.
They had that TV exec lady come back on to talk about more television. So a lot of TV, a lot of stuff about the actual TV content, but also about how it's going to be your set-top box. So it's got its own EPG, so it's like programming guides and snapping, which is just like your way of like alt-tabbing between different video
people
apps.
Can't focus on anything at one time.
Yeah, it was quite a multitasky sort of
You've got
setup.
Star Trek going there, you've got a TV show, you're Skyping a friend, you're playing a game. It's
But
like Marty McFly's son in Back to the Future 2, you've got all the screens going at once.
Checking Twitter sort of throughout the thing, there was a lot of kind of negativity towards the emphasis on TV stuff. I can kind of understand that. I feel like a lot of people were there for, watching for the games. These are the guys who are going to tune onto the stream are the kind of hardcore game fans.
Right, by definition, the people who are watching the stream are the ones who want to see the games the most. But that's not sort of what Microsoft positions this reveal for, really. I mean, it's obviously still deeply invested in keeping gamers, but it's got E3 in but a matter of days. So it really needs to sell this Xbox to its shareholders and to everyone else as being this is the centre of everyone's living room. And unfortunately, the reception among the people who want their Xbox for video games is like, well, this isn't strictly for me.
What's really interesting is that actually there is, one of the things that kind of flashed by almost in an instant was this idea of HDMI in as well as out. So you can actually plug maybe your existing set-top box, and maybe that's what they're relying on. It's not necessarily going to be streamed through the internet or things like that, but it will maybe communicate with existing set-top boxes in different countries. It's difficult to speculate on stuff until it actually comes out.
Okay, in terms of how it sized up against the PS4 reveal, the PS4 was really big on sharing, and they mentioned that. They mentioned the sort of PVR style recording and sharing, and it said it had like native video editing tools. So it's got all of that. They didn't give it quite the same kind of emphasis, but they did say, we've got that. And perhaps we can never know if it was in response to the PlayStation 4 and how it caught a little bit of flack for never actually showing the box. That was one of the first things we saw after the spiel from Matrick about how strong Xbox is as a brand and what we've done. They were like, here you go, here's the box, it looks like a stealth, like you say, like a stealth bomber. It's all kind of like edges and planes. It's like it's totally invisible to radar now.
A big old box.
Assuming the controller is the same size, we'll put up a picture now. Assuming the controller is the same size-ish as the current controller, then the box looks.
And Kinect is huge. Has it made you excited about Kinect again? Because this feels like it's sort of what Kinect was always supposed to be. That level of accuracy that wasn't there in the first one.
Yeah. So it was what were the new specs? It was like 1080p.
1080p HD. It can work out balance and things like that. Apparently, it can tell your heartbeat. I find that enormously.
Does it alert the emergency services if it drops?
That would be amazing.
But how would it do that? Can it see? Does it have a heat vision? Can it see your blood coursing through your veins?
That may be it. Actually, I can't think of any other way other than infrared.
It's got really sensitive hearing. You can like hear
above the sound of Call of Duty.
We're talking about the integration between Smart Glass and Kinect and the controller, trying to bring those three things.
I was convinced that was going to be the moment where they brought them together and there was a Wii U style controller. And they keep banging that drum until like they say definitively they're not going
to. At E3, you'd be like, show me the Smart Glass Wii tablet type controller.
Where are you hiding it, Matrick? I know it's here somewhere.
Is it here?
Because otherwise you've got to have the tablet balanced on your lap and you can't really use both at the same time. They seem to suggest there'd be a bit more. I mean, that shot they showed of the three things, Kinect in the middle and the controller and Smart Glass on each side, I assumed there was going to be some explanation of how they were all going to work together.
Did they show us the back of the controller?
No, although it did. It did say that the Kinect could see the controller now, which actually, in terms of motion control games, I know that's not the most popular thing in the world, but at the very least, it now gives you something physical that you can wave around, that wasn't available in Kinect.
So games. Excited? Games. What took your fancy?
Well, they said they had a lot in development, They've got
Oh, good. I'm glad
Yeah.
they thought about that.
so they've got
15 exclusives?
platform exclusives, 8 of which are
New IPs.
Right.
that they don't want to tell us about just yet.
That sounds healthy. Does
So-
that include what we saw on stage?
Well, it's got to include
Quantum Break.
Yeah,
and Forza,
yeah.
Yeah.
but not Ghosts, obviously, because that's going to be multi-platform.
The Call of Duty Ghosts DLC is going to be first on Xbox One, like it is at the moment on Xbox 360, which means they're going to sort of try and keep Xbox as the home of Call of Duty, which makes
I think,
sense.
using Call of Duty as a way of saying, you know what, nothing's going to change into the next generation. If you want the best Call of Duty experience, it's probably going to be on Xbox.
If you want the earliest Call of Duty experience,
yes,
that's
well,
certainly on Xbox, yeah.
I would hope Sony's kind of up their game in terms of the multiplayer stuff, but
Yeah.
you've got to hope that live is going to be still as good, if not better, a place to play multiplayer games.
What about the game itself? Like what little we saw?
Had
Dogs.
an adorable
There was
dog in a
a
mocap suit.
Really heavy emphasis on the dog as well.
Yeah.
Not just like here's a dog emotion capture. He was present at every stage of that Call of Duty Ghosts reveal.
I think the
I
dog
think
will
he's
be
going to
the
be a
hero,
character.
playable character.
He's definitely like a squad member.
Yeah.
Because he's always present.
Lieutenant Barks and Waddington.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he's in his like battle dress.
He's
He's got a
got
little ear
his
tattoo and
Yeah.
scratches on his nose.
Oh
And
my god.
has his little ghost mask.
A lot of stuff based around like natural disasters. There was a lot of flooding. It was
A lot of smoke and
yeah,
underwater.
So
bits
maybe
and all
like
sorts.
geo-terrorists blowing up stuff.
Yeah, it could be.
Triggering natural disasters. I don't know. It's written by the guy who wrote Traffic. I don't know. Have you seen that?
Yes, I didn't like it very much.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
All right, so we had Quantum Break also announced new IP from Remedy, the guys behind Alan Wake. As our resident science officer, what did you make of Quantum?
It's been allocated to me because it has the word
Has the word
quantum in it.
quantum, that's a science
I have a soft spot for Remedy, and I will make certain allowances even for Alan Wake. What do we get from it? So there's a little girl and a
crashing
mother,
mother.
and she's
If anyone
like,
can tell
what
me what
makes
that
you
mother has been in, it's really annoying me. So if you can put that in the comments.
some sort of cable
Something like
show?
that.
Yeah. So she's like, "Why are you so creepy kid?" And the creepy kid's like, "Here, let me show you," and touches the woman, and then she has a vision of
a super tanker crashing into
super
a bridge.
tanker
bridge.
that sort of like I don't know, like phases sideways in space.
Yeah.
Sort of like jumps sideways and into a bridge, and that looks like a sort of pseudo quantum effect.
Okay.
You know, you might propose that as a sort of quantum phenomenon.
So we predict you play a little girl who crashes super tankers into bridges with her mind.
I don't know. Is she the player character? Who's the player character here? Is it the ship? You play as the ship.
It's like battleships. You say like a grid reference, and she crashes a tanker into a bridge. At that
There's
grid
not a
reference.
lot we can take
Powered by
away
Kinect.
from that. To be perfectly honest, you said you thought you saw a butterfly in
Yeah.
the end, sort of like.
So as it smashes, I thought that the glass
identical.
maybe turned into a butterfly.
and that
That's correct.
suggests
That
chaos effect
suggests-
and sciencey things.
The
Yeah.
So,
butterfly effect starring Ashton Kutcher.
Yes, that's exactly what it suggests.
Good.
I'm hoping it's
It's an adaptation. Finally.
Max Payne was
Ah.
a spoof on
Okay.
like noir and graphic
Yeah,
novels
yeah,
and
yeah.
comic books. Alan Wake was, I guess, if you were being kind, like something similar about Stephen King type horror.
Or
Yeah.
like Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks,
style
so,
horror as well.
yeah. So if this is their equivalent for sci-fi,
Pastiche of sci-fi.
yeah, that could be interesting.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember in Alan Wake there was that Twilight Zone sort of sci-fi
Yeah, like the scary
program?
Girl. What was it
Yeah,
called?
like Twilight Zone sort of thing.
Something Springs.
Yeah.
Night
Night
Springs.
Springs.
Night Springs. Yeah.
If it was the video game of Night Springs.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but I think they already played a little bit with that with Alan Wake, so
Yeah.
that might be a bit too close.
How do you guys feel about a Halo television series that is also maybe a bit interactive but in non-specific ways?
Vaguely. Well,
But has Steven Spielberg
That has Steven Spielberg doing what?
playing Pong.
Right. Producing.
yeah.
It's just going to keep cutting back. The framing narrative is Steven Spielberg playing Pong
And I even started playing Pong in 1974.
Pawns.
with Master Chief.
Right.
So personally, it doesn't float my boat specifically, but I did see a bit of the Halo Unto Dawn.
Forward
Unto Dawn,
yeah.
and that was really good. And I think that did really well, and I can see that if you were into Halo, that would be kind of cool for you.
I know people who are really into the Halo mythology, and it seems like if you're actually really into it, there's a lot there that they can work with.
I've talked about the Halo movie, an honest to goodness Halo movie, for such a long time,
Yeah.
and maybe this is how it has to go.
And Steven Spielberg might look at it every so often.
Yeah, maybe. He's clearly
Yeah.
a producer on it. I
He
mean,
couldn't even be bothered to turn up to the
Show
tent.
up.
the guy who gave us boom blocks.
Yeah.
He's there on his yacht going, hey, I'm really sorry I can't be there.
I'd really like to, but not really.
Nerds.
So-
I just didn't want him to come.
Yeah.
I wish I could be there with you today in person, but like all of you here today, I've been playing games for decades.
But what's interesting is that they sort of announced the existence of Xbox Entertainment Studios or Microsoft Entertainment Studios, which is, I mean, obviously Netflix has been getting into making their own TV shows, as has Amazon, and so it seems like Microsoft's kind of throwing their hat into the ring as far as that stuff's concerned.
That would
as well.
make sense as a sort of entry point for them.
Yeah.
Like Halo is theirs. It's a proven success of sorts with Forward Unto Dawn. And all these people who aren't traditionally like content creators of their own in terms of TV content creation are sort of getting into that with like Amazon and Netflix, like you say.
Because that's what they did with House of Cards on Netflix. They looked at what people were watching and made a TV show for those people. So heaven knows what game.
Crossed with I don't know.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
With more nudity.
Medieval meth dealers.
Yes.
That's the next big thing.
Forza. A couple of very shiny cars.
Well,
driving through a very
Did you
shiny.
see that orange paint? That was so shimmery.
Those were a couple of McLarens, Jane.
Did you?
Yeah. Did you know
notice
that?
Everything looked very sharp and shiny and lots of lens flare.
At least they didn't dwell on like the upholstery fabric. Like in that,
although there was a
PlayStation
lingering shot of some tyre wear.
Yeah, but show us. Don't tell us.
Yeah.
Don't tell us about.
I love that stuff
the
about
nape of the fabric to be like swooshed in either direction or something.
I like the fact that they were talking about things. You see the ravages of time or whatever. It was.
Yeah, they were talking about the new engine.
Yeah.
It's a new engine, right? And
I think it pretty much has to be. Yeah.
and they were saying that the effects of weather and I don't know temperature and also time.
Yeah.
I just imagine the
Time?
driver being like the guy at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, just like withering to
Aging,
dust
yeah.
behind the wheel, visibly
Exactly.
aging to
He
death.
chose poorly. He got into the wrong rail car.
Yeah, if you fall too far behind, you start rapidly aging.
That would be horrifying.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was the triggers have force feedback in them now on the controller.
Really?
Yeah, did you not catch that?
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, so there's feedback in the triggers as well as in the actual pad.
Does that mean like varying resistance? So like
I assume so. I don't know exactly what he meant by that, but I assume you get kind of resistance. And that's kind of cool. Also, they were talking about achievements are going to change with the way they share.
Dynamic achievements, not just about what you've done, but
Yeah.
how you did it or something.
It's
Right,
interesting that they identify something that is the reason I use achievements. I know a lot of people go in to just get all the achievements in a game, but it's not really how I do it. I like to look back at my achievements and think, oh, that's the kind of path I sort of took through that game, and these are the cool things that I did, not by accident, but those are the things I managed to do, and I didn't spend ages grinding. And that was something they mentioned. They said it was going to tell the story of how you played games and stuff as part of this dynamic achievements thing.
I wonder what that means.
Yeah,
Because as they exist now, achievements are like wholly like quantitative things, right? And if you're saying it's going to tell a story, then all you can do is just start like subdividing them like smaller achievement awards for doing little things, unless it's it becomes kind of like a either or sort of thing.
Yeah, like a
you
choice
made
thing.
this, did you choose this?
Sort
or
of like
choose
those Mass
this?
Effect
And-
stats that come out after you play it. Mass
Yeah.
Effect game. It tells you how
Yeah.
many people did one thing or the other.
There was not a great deal on achievements,
No.
and I think it's interesting to speculate, but there's
They
not a
mentioned
great
it at
deal
the
to
same
take
time
from
as the
that.
video stuff, though, which is quite interesting because I guess maybe what will happen is you can, when you get an achievement, it will record the however many seconds of video it took to get that. So you might get a sort of video clip of the achievement you just got
Oh, that would be interesting.
dumped out, which would
yeah,
be brilliant
Yeah.
because the
And then you
moment
can
you do it,
upload
you
that
can,
to
like,
wherever and go, look, I did this.
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, and that would feed into the not just that you've got this achievement, but how you got this achievement.
Achievements become dynamic and changing. They tell your personal story of how you play, not just what you've done.
All right, so that was our immediate response to the Xbox One reveal. Come on back to OutsideXbox.com and YouTube.com/OutsideXbox for more, and tell us what you thought of the Xbox One in the comments, if you would.